In February 2026, Bill Gaither did something he had never done in 50 years of homecoming videos, and the reason he chose to do it now, at 90 years old, will tell you everything about what he is trying to leave behind. Before anything else, hear these names: the Gaither Vocal Band, Sandy Patty, David Phelps, Jason Crabb, the Isaacs, the Martins, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, the Oak Ridge Boys, Rhonda Vincent, Jordan Smith, Mark Lowry, Linda Randall, Chris Blue, Angela Prim, Wes Hampton, Marshall Hall, Michael Booth, Ronnie Booth, Ernie Haza, Mark Wills, Sonia Isaacs, Dustin Doyle, and that list covers barely a fraction of who walked through those doors. Your average Homecoming Friends recording features somewhere between 15 and 25 artists, and this single all-day taping held the equivalent of 12 of those videos combined, with over 270 voices on one stage and more than 70 gospel and Christian music classics captured before the cameras stopped rolling. Announced on February 27, 2026, and released on March 27 under the title I Go to the Rock through Gaither Music Group, this recording dropped as a CD and DVD on the eve of Bill Gaither's 90th birthday, one day before, which was not a coincidence. As a three-time Gospel Music Hall of Famer, Gaither carried enough authority to call 250 recording artists across gospel, Southern gospel, contemporary Christian music, and country music to TBN Studios in Hendersonville, Tennessee for one session, and every single one of them came. The logistics alone deserve a moment of attention. Coordinating schedules across that many touring and recording artists, arranging travel, staging a production crew capable of capturing over 70 performances in a single day, and delivering it all across 4 separate CD and DVD projects, that is not a record release. That is an institution moving with purpose. And here's the thing: Bill Gaither organized all of it at 89 years old, which tells you the urgency behind the decision was not ceremonial. But here's the real reason Gaither did this now, at 90, and a birthday tribute only scratches the surface of it. The original Homecoming taping happened in 1991, gathering a generation of gospel music legends who were already well into their careers. Jake Hess was there. Vestal Goodman was there. Howard Goodman was there. That generation, the one that built Southern gospel and carried Christian music into living rooms across America, has been leaving the stage for years, and not temporarily. Gaither watched those departures one by one, and what he understood, with the kind of clarity that comes from 9 decades of living, was that the window to capture the living voice of this era was closing faster than most people wanted to admit. So rather than document that loss after the fact, he gathered everyone he could reach and recorded them while they were still in the room. His own words carry that weight directly. Vocal performances included gospel pioneers who helped build this family of singers and musicians, Gaither told the press, along with new vocal talent delivering this music and message to the next generation. 4 separate CD and DVD releases came out of that one day, which means what happened at TBN Studios in Hendersonville was not a concert in any traditional sense. It was an archive built in real time before the moment passed. The performances from that room confirm exactly what he intended. Sonia Isaacs stepped to the front and led over 250 voices through an a cappella rendition of Amazing Grace. No instrumentation, no production safety net, just the unaccompanied sound of a room full of gospel singers surrendering to a 250-year-old hymn. Chris Blue, Jason Crabb, and Angela Prim then led the full gathering through I Go to the Rock, the title track, while Gloria Gaither delivered a spoken word segment that anchored the entire recording in something older than any of the performances surrounding it. And Bill Gaither himself put the mission into a single sentence that cuts through everything else. We're not just passing the torch, we're carrying it together. That sentence is the architecture of this entire event, and it connects directly to who was standing in that room alongside the legends. Chris Blue crossed over into gospel worship from a mainstream television competition and brought an audience that had never attended a homecoming taping in their lives. Jordan Smith, who sang before massive mainstream audiences before arriving in this space, stood on that stage by choice. Tasha Cobbs Leonard represented a generation of contemporary Christian music and worship music artists who grew up watching homecoming videos and now appear in them as headliners. And that generational overlap, the pioneers and the next wave sharing one stage, singing the same songs, recorded on the same footage, is the answer to every question about where gospel music goes from here. The recording will broadcast as a television special on networks worldwide and stream through Gaither TV+, which means a 19-year-old on a streaming platform and an 80-year-old watching satellite radio programming on Sirius XM will encounter the same voices from the same day. Gaither's first single from the project, Bread Upon the Water, featured Wes Hampton, Marshall Hall, Michael Booth, Ronnie Booth, Ernie Haas, and Dustin Doyle. 6 voices, several generations, one song, released to introduce a project that ultimately captures what 70 years of devotion to Christian music actually looks like when you put it all in one room. Legacy gets talked about constantly in the music world, and most of the time the word floats past without landing anywhere real. What landed at TBN Studios in Hendersonville was 250 recording artists standing shoulder to shoulder in a worship music setting, singing songs that people reach for when everything else has failed, captured on film that will outlast every one of them. Bill Gaither built the room. He built the relationships that filled it. He spent half a century convincing gospel, Southern gospel, and contemporary Christian music that they belonged to the same family, and then, on the eve of turning 90, he brought that entire family together and documented it. Name one gospel singer you wish had been in that room, and drop their name in the comments right now because every single one gets read. Subscribe so you don't miss coverage when the full I Go to the Rock television special airs, because when you see the complete version of what happened that day, you will want to have known about it from the start.